Hey everybody, so we had a lot of people comment asking for kind of tips and hints on how to get their older trailer cleaned up and polished up. Sorry, it's windy today. Get their older trailer cleaned up, polished up. I've done a couple trailers now, and this is just what works for me. Am I a professional? Heck no. I ride horses and I'm a mechanic, and this is something that I just like to do for our personal trailers and friends, stuff like that. So obviously you have to start with a clean trailer. I would recommend probably doing a acid wash on the aluminum. Do not touch the paint with acid. Just do a like 50% water, 50% acid, depending on how bad your aluminum is. Spray that down, and what we found is if you spray it while the aluminum is wet, it helps kind of disperse it and get it working better, and then just keep spraying until you see the black streaking start to go away. So a good acid wash, and then as far as the paint goes, a good hand wash using nothing but just soap and water in the soap. I would not use like a laundry detergent or anything like that. Just a good automotive car wash type soap is fine with a hand wash mitt. Just get it washed up good. Obviously the outcome is going to vary depending on how bad your trailer is. This one wasn't too bad. It's got a couple scrapes, couple dings, but it wasn't too bad to begin with. The panels are pretty straight. So I'll start off here with what I do to do the paint. I always start on the paint first, and what I use on the paint is the Chemical Guys Hex Logic waffle pads. And you can start with blue. That's kind of a finishing pad on your paint, but what I've actually found that works better is the green pad, and this one is also a Hex Logic. Green pads for a 6-inch orbital, and I just have the cheap Bauer 6-inch from Harbor Freight. This thing works excellent, and you can vary the speed on it. I normally go about speed 5 on the paint. I'll show you that in a minute. We'll stop the video once I'm explaining what products I use. So I started with the blue on this particular one, and I just felt like it wasn't doing enough. So I went to the medium, which is this green, with the One Step McGuire's compound. And I went to the medium, which is the green, and that seemed to really do the trick. And then from there, once I have it all done with this and wiped down, I wipe it as I go. I'll just pick like a panel, and I'll do like a 4 foot by 4 foot section, and then I'll get that done. Wipe it down with my microfiber. You can get these at Costco in the big yellow bag. They are very cheap, and we run through them pretty fast. You want to keep these on hand and use plenty of them. Don't get stingy about it, because your outcome, especially on this, is going to depend on how clean your cloth is, at least what I've found. So once you're done with this, and I'll show you how I do it in a minute, then what I like to do is I move over to, and this may not be the correct way, but gosh dang, it sure works for me. I move over to this Grant's European foam with the ceramic wax, and I put that also on my polisher, my buffer, and then I go back over it the same as I would with the buffing pad. And same motion, same everything. And I've found that takes a lot of the little imperfections out while also applying that ceramic wax. Not only does it smell good, but you can see it definitely leaves a mirror shine to it when you're done. So that's kind of where I end up finishing at, is with this. If you want to go back over it by hand with an actual, like how you would normally wax a car, that's up to you to give it even more wax on it. I'm in Arizona. It's hot here. We wash our trailer pretty frequently. I don't like things being dirty, even though we have horses. You know, I'm kind of anal about it. So that's kind of where we end up with that. As far as the aluminum goes, once again, a good acid wash, and you know, you have to have aluminum that was taken care of through the years. If you've got stuff that's dinged and dented, you can still polish it and it still turns out really nice, but you'll get little black spots like you can see right here all those little spots there is where it's holding in the McGuire's, or the mothers, sorry. So that's what I'm using on the aluminum. And I'm just using that, and a lot of professional polishers are going to make fun of me right now, but it works on these Hexlogic Sane pads, the blue pad. And I've just found that it works for me. I've tried everything, and I know it's not a professional buff for polishing aluminum, but gosh dang, it sure works, and you can see the finish. And to give you the difference, this is how we started out. I haven't done this side yet. That's how we started out. So it's nice and clean. I have not acid washed this side, only because I felt like this trailer didn't need it. It was pretty straight and nice. But as you can see, we did do the buffing on this side. So I'll run through the process with you. I'll get my wife to hold the phone, and I'll show you how I do it. And good luck to you. Hey guys, so I'm going to do a quick demonstration for you. I've already polished this trailer on the paint on both sides, but I'm going to go back over it again just to show you kind of how I do it, so that you understand the method that I use, so that you can kind of try to get the same results. So I'm not a professional at this. This is my 4th time doing this. I'm a mechanic by trade, and I ride horses. So this is by no means a professional video. You can feel free to experiment, and I'm not liable if you burn the paint on your trailer. So here's what I do. I showed you the McGuire's 1-step. Depending on how bad your trailer is, you may need something a little bit more coarse. Depending on if it's better, you may need something more fine. For me, this has worked on this trailer. It's white. It's not as bad as like doing a black or a brown trailer. White is typically a lot easier. So we have our 6-inch Chemical Guys pad. I'm just going to put a tiny bit on here in like an X shape, and then we will go over to the other side, and I will show you kind of how to do this. So like I said, this is a trailer we've already done, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you how I do it, in the motion how I do it. And what you want to do is you want to go up and then across, so that way you get full coverage. I always blot it on there first, so that we don't smear it everywhere. I'm just using light pressure. You want to make sure this still rotates. And then a good idea is to stop, turn it off while you're still applied. Otherwise you get a bunch in your face. As you'll notice, this rotates along with vibrates. If there's any point this stops rotating, you've got a problem. You want to keep this rotating so that you get better coverage. So from there, I'm just going to take my microfiber, and there is 2 sides to these. You do have a coarser side and a finer side. I like to use the finer side on everything, and you're just going to wipe. You don't need to let it set up. You don't need to let it dry. Just wipe it right off. And the way you can tell kind of how you have any left is eventually you'll get a feel for it. If you run your hand across it and it gets hard and then easy, that means you've got a buildup there. So you just want to keep, it's a feel, kind of like riding horses, it's a feel. You want to just keep feeling, and you'll feel when it gets easy and hard. If it gets hard, that means you still have a buildup. Like right here, I know I have an extra buildup. So we're getting to the point where it's feeling pretty good. And then you can take and do a little test. Run your hand across it, and there's no chalk, and it's smooth, and you have a reflection. So from here, we're going to stop the video, and then I'll do a quick demonstration on the ceramic. All right, guys, so we're going to move on to the ceramic wax applicant, and like I said, This is what's worked for me. I can see the difference when I look down it when I do this versus not doing this. It definitely fines it up a little bit and makes your reflection in the trailer a lot brighter and better. So I don't know if this is 100% right, but this is how I've done it. It's worked for me. You want to shake this up really good. What I do is I just put a circle on here, like that, and then same thing as applying the cutting compound. I just want to kind of watch it. Product you're supposed to leave on the surface and let it kind of dry up a little bit, but because I've already done this with this trailer, I'm just going to go ahead and wipe it off. And the same thing you'll feel when you have product still on there, because it'll get hard. Like right in here, it's getting hard. When it smooths out, I know I have it all off. Starting to smooth out, feel good. Now not only is your trailer protected, but once again, no chalking. We'll see you next for the polish. Alright guys, so we're to the polishing stage of getting our trailer ready. You'll notice something kind of weird here. This is a 6-inch backing plate on this polisher, but I have a 5-inch pad on it. There's a reason for that. So depending on how far apart your slats are in your trailer will dictate kind of this pad, and you want a soft pad. That's why I'm using the blue. You want a soft pad so that it can kind of get in there in the nooks and crannies. You won't have as much spin on this as you do with the paint, but you are looking for it to move a little bit. If it stops moving, you want to kind of back off and let it move a little bit. Once again, I am using the mag and aluminum polish from Mothers. This stuff is excellent. Let me notate before I start that if your trailer is really bad, you definitely want to acid wash it. This is the acid we use. It's Superior Products. You can get this at any auto parts store. Typically Napa or O'Reilly will have it. And I was cutting this 50% this and 50% water in a sprayer kind of like this. You can get from like Ace Hardware or Harbor Freight or Home Depot, Lowe's. They all have these sprayers on hand. So let's get to polishing. You always want to mask off your white, because if this touches the white, it's a real pain to get back off. Once the trailer is clean and all the chalkiness is gone, it's not so bad, but I definitely want to protect my paint from the Mothers, because this stuff is pretty harsh. So this is the product we're using, the Mothers. This stuff's great. A little warm today, so this stuff's kind of liquidy, but it normally wouldn't be so liquidy. I just use my finger. You can use a paintbrush, whatever you want, get some on here. I found that if you put too much in here and it clogs this up, it is really hard to wipe off the trailer. So less is better than more when it comes to putting on here, and especially the more this pad gets used, the less is better, because the more you get on there, especially in colder temperatures, wiping it off with your rag afterwards is a real pain in the butt. So once again, I'm just going to kind of blob a little bit, and I'm going to turn my speed up a little bit. And obviously on this you can't go up and down vertically, but you would just go horizontally, back and forth. again, same thing. You don't have to worry about it drying up. Matter of fact, it's harder to wash to get off if it dries up. So I'm just going to get in here, and this is where the muscle really, this is where you're going to have sore shoulders the next day and arms. This takes some muscle to get in here and get this stuff off. But you can see how that shines right up. Now when I move to my next area, which I'm going to do here for you in a second, this might take a couple times for you to do this and get the result you want, but you can see how much better that already is. When I move to my next area, I'm going to overlap this a good bit. If you just go to here, what's going to happen is you're going to see as you do the trailer and as you get through with it, and as you park it in different spots and the sun hits it, you're going to see where you start and stopped. So you always want to overlap a good bit. We call it feathering, like paint and body shops call it feathering. You always want to feather your areas so that it's harder to see where you start and stop. See, that time I didn't put that much on there because I already have liquid on there. We'll overlap it. I don't get so technical that I'm counting my strokes. I just kind of go off of the feel. But you can, if you want to get super technical, do the same motion over and over a certain amount of strokes, and theoretically you should have the same outcome provided your pad stays nice. I will probably go through 3 of these pads to do this side of the trailer because I've found that the more they get worn out, the less they work. So I will go through a bunch of these pads, and yes, they are a little bit on the expensive side, but a heck of a lot better than paying somebody $2,000 or $3,000 to come out and polish your trailer and spend 2 days getting this take here, or maybe worse, maybe they didn't do so as good. And at the end of the day, you can say you did it. If you're like me, you like to have that pride in knowing that you did something. So there's kind of the outcome on that. I will go over this with that same ceramic wax as I used on the paint once both sides of the trailer are done. Getting in through here can be a little difficult. I'm going to skip that on this trailer and just do the edges and the fenders. And after it's all said and done, I'm going to go through and put that wax on this polish as well and really seal the deal in.